Scariest jump scares in horror movies. Exorcist has a famous jump scare in its sequel. Let's find out. Horror movies are the bread and butter for the genre's fanatics, but no matter how many horror movies someone has watched or how much they love them, they are bound to get out of their seats and scream when an unexpected jump scare comes. Today we will be looking at some of the scariest jump scares in horror movies, so without any further ado, let us get right into it. 5. Drag Me to Hell. Ganesh in bed scene. Although the movie Drag Me to Hell is filled with a huge amount of jump scares and scary moments, the one that is the scariest is the Ganesh in bed scene. This is a spine-tingling jump scare when Christine, the main protagonist of the movie, suddenly finds herself in bed with Ganesh. In the scene, Sam Raimi does everything he can to trick the audience into a false sense of security, which is a main element of a terrifying jump scare. Christine abruptly awakens in bed, only to discover her boyfriend, Clay, peacefully sleeping beside her. Christine stands up and takes a few steps around the room. When she lies down again, Ganesh is there instead of Clay. A terrifying zoom-in close-up on the gypsy odious witch's face culminates in Ganesh vomiting hundreds of maggots onto Christine as she attacks. 4. The Exorcist 3. The hospital scene. While the sequels will never match the original film's masterpiece, The Exorcist 3 expands on the lore and has a few notable scares. The most infamous sequence takes place in a single long shot in the hospital hallway. It's a quiet few minutes with seemingly nothing happening, but something doesn't feel quite right. The fear of what might happen causes our brains to trick us, as what we are imagining in our heads can make the scene even more scary as we are constantly trying to figure out what might happen. In the famously terrifying hospital scene, a nurse is doing her rounds in an unusually quiet corridor where the nurse notices a strange sound. She investigates it, but finds nothing. As she walks back across the street, she is pursued by a figure in white, wielding a massive pair of shears. 3. The Ring 2002. The closet scene. Although The Ring movie is sort of a masterpiece with a huge amount of scares, the one in particular which caught people off guard is the disturbing face of Katie in the closet. At the start of The Ring, Becca Kotler and Katie Embry discuss the tape, laughing about how it's not possible to get a phone call 7 days after watching something, and then die in a particularly disturbing way. Katie mentions watching this tape, and she dies later that evening under mysterious circumstances. Rachel, a journalist, attends her niece's funeral. Rachel's sister urges her to look into Katie's death. When Katie's mother recounts the mind-shattering horror of finding her daughter's disfigured corpse at the back of a closet, her face frozen in a grotesque scream, we get a smash-cut flashback revealing what she saw. A flashback of Katie's mother discovering her daughter's corpse in the closet catches us off guard as they talk in the deceased's bedroom. Katie's face is not only gross and unsettling, but this scene emphasizes how dangerous Samara and her ability to murder anyone she desires is. Audiences don't yet know what she's capable of, but this scene perfectly sets up the rest of the film. Samara's pain will be inflicted on everyone who watches her tape. 2. Sinister 2012. The lawnmower scene. Sinister is a horror film that was promoted as a shocking surprise. It was an ambitious film with a novel approach that used cinema itself to create scares. Seeing old film reels of the massacre after massacre allows us to empathize with Ellison in these moments. While we know he is not in immediate danger, we can sense his anxiety about not knowing what to expect from these tapes. One in particular shows a lawnmower being used in an unintended manner. The real Ellison was watching comes to the conclusion with a blurry point-of-view shot of the unidentified killer pushing a lawnmower on a rainy night. Until the machine comes across an obstacle in the form of a bound and gagged victim. It is completely unexpected and has been built up over a long period of silence. The perfect combination of raising uneasy expectations, followed by an explosion of utter horror that brings this sequence to a close and true terror. 1. Insidious. Demon in the Corner Scene. Insidious Demon in the Corner Scene might just be the franchise's best jump scare. Lorraine's performance as she guides Josh and the audience through the lucid dream is part of what makes Insidious Demon in the Corner so effective. Most people can relate to a vivid nightmare of a dream that is subtly off, which this sequence nails. Lorraine recalls the demon's horrible voice and how it told her it wanted Dalton, which is incredibly eerie in and of itself. After lulling audiences into a trance with the languid pacing of Lorraine's story, Juan saved the best for last. While she was talking to Josh, there was a sudden jump scare as the demon appeared behind Josh, causing her to jump out of her chair screaming. Anyway, this wraps up our video for today. What do you think about this? Let us know in the comments section down below. Make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel while you're at it.